If you are an arena player, life can feel unfair these days. Not only are queue times insanely long, but MMR in arena is so deflated that everyone's arena ratings go up and down every week like Bart Simpson's hairline. That's right, while the top of the BG Blitz ladder might be seeing 4K rating for the first time, arena is lagging super far behind. Blizzard is clearly too busy making the next $90 mount. Anyway, we did some research and discovered there are 6 specs which are perfect for climbing out of low ratings, even during these desperate times. In fact, one of these specs is so dominant that it completely threw off our data. And if you came into this video expecting the flavor of the month Outlaw Rogue, think again. Although they've recently skyrocketed in weeks, this is partially due to the new PvE ring, which was not only bugged in PvP, but was way better for Outlaw compared to other specs. Rogues always have it so hard. Thankfully, Blizzard stepped in to hit the bug with a hotfix. No more free loot for all those pirates. Instead, on the melee side, we think Fury Warrior is one of the best melee to climb across all ratings, especially for those looking to get Challenger or Rival. But what makes Fury so good? Well, for one, big damage. When I play my Resto Druid, I am scared to death whenever I see a Fury Warrior on the other team. I know that the moment they hit me, my health is going to drop faster than Peekaboo playing hardcore WoW. It's really stupid how effective doing big damage can be for gaining rating. Chanimal is a BlizzCon champion who's dominated both regions for over a decade, and he will tell you himself that the #1 thing that scares him in Arena are players who are relentlessly aggressive. Yes, the #1 player in the world is afraid of Big Dam. That's why our damage courses are so insanely OP for gaining rating, because they teach the fundamentals needed to actually reach your potential, no matter what you're rating. Skill Cap members even get a no compromises fully configured UI, which now includes dual support for PvE, which is the first add-on of its kind. Players just like you are using Skill Cap guides and our revolutionary UI to hit new rating heights. And no matter what, we will back you up with a rating gain guarantee where we promise that you will see rating gains while actively using our website. We even offer a 14-day no questions asked money-back guarantee for those of you who just want to try us out. So after this video, be sure to click the link below for an exclusive discount to get started. For now, back to the video. If we look at the DPS rankings, up to rival ratings, Fury is doing pretty good. And that's not even considering the fact that they have one of the best MS effects in the entire game. Aside from damage, the other reason Fury can be so brutal to deal with is the fact that as long as they have uptime, it's really no issue stacking that 36% healing reduction. As you can imagine, once dampening hits, the damage is nearly impossible to deal with. Fury Warriors are just so good at passively ending games. While their defensives aren't the greatest, there's no need to overthink your win condition when it's as simple as staying on target. Now I know what you're saying, staying on target is impossible these days. And yes, while it's true that there is an endless war between both melee and casters arguing about mobility, there is one spec that avoids a lot of trouble: Ret Paladin. The pink and yellow Power Rangers of WoW PvP conveniently avoid the mobility war, thanks to having a hammer that can magically hit from 25 yards away. Anyway, Ret is also doing really well in the climb up to Rival and beyond, all while having one of the highest win rates for any melee DPS. In case you didn't know by now, the entire Paladin class got a massive redesign earlier in the expansion, which beefed up their defensives while solving a lot of quality of life issues, like Bubble not only healing, but also being usable while on Forbearance. At the start of the season, Ret Paladins were struggling to actually land kills due to weak burst, which has since been solved by simply respecking to the Templar hero spec, which grants a hammer of light ability capable of bopping people on the head for a few million damage. And just like clockwork, Ret Paladins are one-shotting once again. Anyway, if you're looking for a good entry-level melee to brighten up your Czech PvP profile, then Fury Warrior or Ret Paladin might be for you. Now moving on to ranged DPS, something weird has happened in the meta this expansion. Some people might argue that ranged is the harder role, and look, we're not here to take sides, but we get it. Being bombarded with interrupts, taking infinity damage, and then being expected to do damage in CC, gotta be hard, right? Well, not for these guys. BM Hunter is so good at gaining rating that it has completely distorted the rating distribution charts on Drustvar. Virtually nobody is low rated as this spec. Let's put it into perspective. Being a 1600 Feral Druid puts you in the top 50% of your spec, but being a 1600 BM Hunter puts you in the bottom 20. That's right, if you play BM Hunter and press Q, there's a 50% chance you will get Rival. That's crazy. We had a lot of questions about BM going into the War Within, since Blizzard decided to turn them into some sort of dot class who can only hit one target. But as it turns out, this strategy is actually insanely good in solo shuffle, especially since it was paired with a beefed up defensive toolkit. By far, BM Hunter is the hardest Hunter spec to actually shut down, and without a set of roots on your team, you can't really stop damage from the Zoo Tycoon of pets. And while every other caster is crying about CC breaking to damage, Diamond Ice is like the Giga Chad of crowd control. It doesn't even need to land on the healer to be good. Some BM Hunters do just fine trapping DPS on cooldown. There are 4 casters that trail right behind BM: Demonology Warlock, Shadow Priest, Elemental Shaman, and Affliction Warlock. But it's actually Demo which has the best results. Out of every ranged DPS, Demo is the second most likely to climb to Challenger, Rival, and even Duelist, all while having one of the most consistently high win rates in the entire game. Meanwhile, Frost Mage, which is arguably a better spec on paper, fails to deliver results. Demo is a bit of an enigma. Its damage isn't the best, its burst is far from being the scariest, and it still needs to hardcast quite a bit. But as our smartest viewers know, Demo is the only caster with a reliable healing reduction effect, which is kind of a big deal since it not only means a passive source of pressure, but also the ability to mesh well with other casters. That's kind of the problem with solo shuffle lobbies these days. Whatever team has an MS Andy sort of has an automatic advantage. Now, as we move on to healers, let's remember something. Climbing as a healer is not going to be an easy task, no matter what spec you play. With that said, Holy Paladin is still performing really well despite a few recent nerfs. While other healers are waiting for their rework next patch, Christmas came early for the Knights of the Silver Hand. After their rework, it seemed like Holy Paladin was a patch ahead of everyone else. And even today, it's the healer most likely to reach every major benchmark, including Challenger, Rival, and Duelist. The reason Paladin continues to be a good pick for climbing rating is that it is the #1 counter to idiots. And by idiots, we mean your DPS partners, who keep their defensives locked away in a secure vault, never to be used. Holy Paladin has some of the best and most consistent defensive options, perfect for carrying mages who like to die without blocking. And although Holy Paladin HPS has taken a few hits in recent weeks, it's still good enough to hang with the throughput-based healers. And to top it all off, now with a spammable Repentance, Holy Paladin actually has a lot of offensive agency. It might not have the biggest damage, but it can help end games. Overall, it's the gnomish army knife of WoW PvP. It can kind of do everything a healer needs to do. The only other healer that comes remotely close to Holy Paladin for escaping low MMR is Discipline Priest, who trails slightly behind in the climb to Challenger, Rival, and Duelist. No other healers even come close. Just like Paladin, Disc offers a bit of idiot protection for those DPS who like to run around like noobs in a random battleground. With 2 charges of Pain Sup, Rapture, Life Swap, and with a few different healing buffs so far this season, Disc is more forgiving now compared to the past. With the metagame both being fast in terms of damage but slow in terms of pacing, Disc is really good at making it to the end game, while having Void Shift as a final ace up their sleeve. In general, both Paladin and Priest offer players a lot of agency. You can actually take control of the game a bit better than everyone else, which is a huge benefit as a healer. So if you want to gain rating fast, then Paladin and Priest is ripe for rating gains. While time is ticking fast for the season to end, our damage and healing courses save you weeks or even months of your time, condensing down everything you need to know into bite-sized videos. And now, with our world-first 2-in-1 UI, you can have your entire interface set up in a matter of seconds, no matter what content you play. You don't have to be scared to sign up because we have a rank up guarantee that promises you will gain at least 400 rating while using our service. So if you're serious about climbing, visit the discount link below to get started. Anyway guys, we want to thank you all for watching. See you soon.